To people here in Florida that are worried about what's going on in New York, I want to tell you there's a big myth going on. It's kind of the myth that a lot of the media has been doing for 4 years about this man, Barack Obama, in which they paint this picture and they don't ask him tough questions. Maybe the first day or two of this storm, the president did a good job. Last 3 or 4 days, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful what he's done. It's disgraceful what his FEMA has done. There are people in New York City that don't have bottles of water like this. See this little bottle of water? They don't have it in New York. You know why? Because Barack Obama's FEMA didn't think to pre-position it.
Right.
Well, they didn't learn anything from Katrina? They didn't pre-position water. There are people in New York City that can't get bottles of water in Manhattan because his FEMA didn't pre-position bottles of water. The electricity has been out in vast, vast parts of New York City. People on the Lower East Side, elderly people, had to sleep last night in the cold. Some of them at great risk to their health. And his FEMA can't get generators to Manhattan. How long did it take us, Bill, to get generators to Ground Zero on September 11th? Do you know Do you know the power was out in Lower Manhattan for 4 weeks? Now, you watched Ground Zero, didn't you, on television? Yeah. And you watched the lights on, and you watched them working 24 hours a day. How do you think we did that? We brought generators in.
Right.
Well, how about the generators now? What good is his FEMA if they can't get the generators to the people who don't have electricity? What good is FEMA if they can't get water to people? What good is FEMA if they can't get food to people? This has been a well-organized recovery. That's a media myth. That's an NBC myth. Like the whole myth of Barack Obama is an MSNBC myth. His response to this... For 4 years, including during this hurricane, as soon as the cameras are gone, Barack Obama's gone.
Right.
He goes there with Chris Christie, great job, good job. He's gone, no water, no electricity, no generators, no FEMA. Just read the newspapers. Read the newspapers that are willing to cover it. And see how the people in New York and New Jersey and Staten Island and Breezy Point, how they're crying out for help. And where's Barack Obama campaigning in Las Vegas? Yeah. This is not a commander-in-chief. This is a campaigner-in-chief. That's right. Not a commander-in-chief. This guy's been a disaster. Been a disaster on our economy. Just see what happened in Libya. Been a disaster on our national security. And you go take a look at New York and New Jersey right now. 6 days later, this man's been a disaster on emergency response, which you and I know a lot about, Bill. Never seen one as bad as this. Never seen a president who walked out as much as this. If George Bush had done this, they'd be impeaching him right now. If George Bush had done this, the media would have been all over him. But we have a big part of this media that's in his back pocket. They're not going to cover Libya. They're not going to cover the mistakes in this disaster response. They won't hold him accountable. It's part of the reason he fails so much, because he doesn't get held accountable. He's been living by a different standard. Well, I tell you what, Tuesday, media doesn't count, polls don't count, spinning doesn't count. You know, you count. You count. You have more chance to hold him accountable.